This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, good morning. Okay, so on the Google Drive link in the data, I have uploaded datasets to folder. So try to download that and save it. Earlier you have downloaded datasets 1. So now there's a datasets 2 folder. So download it and keep it. So in the further session, we'll be using some of the data from this folder. Okay. Now before going on to some of the analytics part, like correlation, regression, right? Building the model stuff. So just wanted to look at some of the things which we have not looked at in terms of coding, like what are the different loops which are available. I'm sure you are already aware, like for loop, while loop. So let's try to do that, how to do it in Python. So before that, can you enter this code from here, line number 36? These are the comments. So num1 is equal to, let me zoom it. Okay, so enter the first number, num2 again, enter the second number, and then, you know, we are printing it num1 is this, and we are trying to swap. If x is equal to 2, y is equal to 3, we want to swap the numbers and see what do we have it in x and y. Let's write this code and let me know once you're done. So when I say this, see in the output, so look at in the console window in the output, it says enter first number. So I need to enter first number, 5. So what do you see in the variable explorer? When I entered this 5, it created this num1 and assigned a value 5 in it. So this raw underscore input function is used, to take an input from the user. Okay, again, this num2, enter second number, let's say 2, right? So there are two functions you can use, raw underscore input and input, to take the values from the user, and then we are saying print. We are saying print num1 is, and this is what we want to print. This is the text. So we have to put it in the quotation. Otherwise, we could have directly done like this, print num1. But we want to have, some text before the output. So we have to put that in the single quotation. Num1 is, this is the value. Can you all try this out?
So, Srinu,
Yeah.
you have stored num1 and num2 as a integers, but there it is variable window num1 is a string, it is captured as a string. Then 5 number is captured as a string. Could you check it once?
Yeah. So whenever we give with raw underscore input, whatever you enter, that will be, taken as a string. But when you do it with input command, it will be taken as a integer. So these two functions you will use accordingly. Let's say you want to, enter whatever the user enter, you want to enter want to treat that as a string, you go with raw underscore input. If you want to, treat that as a number, the input as a number, you use this input function. That's why there are two functions. If you see num2 here, it's int. And for num2, we have used this input function. So any of the two methods, you can use, basis on what data type you want when the user enters. Done, everyone? And I have not uploaded all these programs in the programs folder. Let me do it today, okay? After this session. So there are a lot of programs which are written, whatever we have learned so far, you can just go through them and try to execute and see what's happening with the code. Okay, done. Shall I move? So this if statement we have seen yesterday, right? With the global and local variables, how do we write the if statements? Let's try this just for a practice. Let's try this. So you're creating a variable called num and storing value 3, and we are writing if then and statements. So in SAS, you have learned if this is condition, then you do what, right? But there is no then function here. So how the syntax is, if num, whatever is the num, if it is greater than or equal to 0, instead of then, you have to put a colon here. So the syntax is colon. So this understands that, okay, if this is the condition, then you print positive or 0. Else, again colon, you see, then you say negative number. Can you try this out from line number 152?
Srinu, Krishna here.
Yeah.
In the before print statement, I'm seeing some error coming up. I don't know why. Because and also the function raw underscore input, it's actually highlighted in pink color when it's on your. I mean, in your code it shows in pink color, but for me it just shows in a black color. And when I try to print the num one, it is showing an error for me.
Okay. Okay. So can you check few things? Whether this is in small letters, raw underscore input.
Yeah,
Let's
everything is
check
in
if there
small.
is any capital letter, small
No,
letters. Okay, okay. So let me make you presenter, Krishna, so that I can see. Would you be able to share your screen?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me present. Where is that code? Okay.
So
Okay, can you run that? Yeah. Yeah, can you run that 386, line 386 only? Only line 386. So let us see first num1 we are able to, okay, raw underscore, hmm. Okay, did you run pandas package?
pandas package,
So
it's all. I mean,
before,
pandas
so you
package in the
ran it in this session?
no, in this session I didn't run pandas package.
Okay, let's do that. Import pandas has PD. Okay, run that. Okay, now let's run this. Hmm. And is the input working? Raw underscore input is not working, right? Is the input
Yeah,
working?
believe it should be working. Yeah, it is working.
This will work, yeah. And instead of num2 in the print, can you say num2, num1, everywhere yeah, num2, change that to num2 because with num1 you have an issue, right? Even in the text also, num2 is printed. Hmm.
Should it be in this way?
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
working.
But see, few things are, different in the version because the version which I'm using is 2.7 and I could see yours is 3.7. So few changes, they might have done, with version to version.
Hmm.
Yeah. But let me check on that raw underscore input. So maybe, they have, removed this raw underscore input from this version, but I have to confirm. Okay. I will let you know, Krishna.
Okay.
But everyone, those who are getting error, you can try with input now. Okay, let me take back the control. Okay, everyone done till here. This if condition is done. So if I run this, so you see positive or zero. So it checked this condition. Okay, it saw in there is a number 3. It is greater than or equal to 0. Then it printed this. Now, can you all tell me why there is a space here? What is the importance of space here? Or can I do like this? What do you think? Yeah, indentation. Why that indentation is important? Because this print. So this means how it understands is this command is part of this if statement. Okay. If you see if you don't give any, indentation, this becomes an independent. So it's not dependent on this if condition. But what we want, okay, so this print statement should be part of this if statement. So this indentation is very important. Now, again, you can also do else if there are a lot of conditions. How in SAS you must have learned if statement, then else if statement. You can have multiple else if statements and then one else statement, right? So you can do like this. EL if. So this means else if. Okay. Now let me, can you do this one? I want you to do this. Loops. We have not looked at how do we write the loops. Now write a code from here, this portion. And let me know once you're done, and let me know the output as well once you write this loop, while loop. Okay, now let us try to understand. So in SAS, it was like, even in C program, so it will be like this. Do while, this is the condition, and end. So here, what we are doing? We are creating a count variable and storing 9 in it and saying while this is the condition. While count is greater than 0, colon, it's like a then. If count is greater than 0, then there are two things which I want to do. I want to print the count is, and what is the count. And for few people, you might get error if you do like this. As Krishna was showing, you put that in the brackets. Okay. Then we are saying count is equal to count minus 1. So let us try to understand. So when count is equal to 9, is count greater than 0? 9 is greater than 0? Yes. It will go inside and it will print the count is. So that's why in the output, it's showing the count is 9. It printed 9. Now what we are doing next, count is equal to count minus 1. So it will be 9 minus 1, 8. Again, the loop will run. It will go above. Is 8 greater than 0? Yes. Then it will go inside. Otherwise, it will not go. So the count is 8 now. You would see this. It'll keep on doing, you know, when it reaches 1, what will be the condition? 1 greater than 0, and it went inside. 1 minus 1, it is 0. Is 0 greater than 0? No, right? 0 is equal to 0, but not greater than 0. It will stop there. Understood this while condition, while loop. Okay, now let's try this. Can you all try this out? Let's look at for loop. So for that, create a list with these numbers. Create one variable called someone and try to write this for loop and see what is the output you are seeing. So let me know the output of the for loop when even is done. Okay, Vamshi is saying 48. Okay, let me run this. So I'm running this. In the variable explorer, you would see number and the list, and these are the different values. And you're creating one more, someone assigned as 0. Now iterate over the list. So what we are saying for VAL in numbers, someone is equal to someone plus val. So this VAL is like a counter variable. So you must be familiar with do I is equal to 1 to 10, something like that, right? So this is that counter variable. So I'm saying for value in numbers, someone which is initialized to 0, someone plus val. So what we are doing here is basically we are adding all these numbers 6 plus 5 plus 3 plus 8, all these numbers if we add it will come to 48. This is how we will write the for loop. Okay, if everyone is done, let me move.
Hi Shrinu, one question.
Yeah, Yeah.
For some in there is above for val in number, so the number variable is assigned to val variable. Yes.
Yes. Yes. So this is like a counter variable. It could be anything. So what are we doing here is in the numbers we have entire list, right?
Hmm.
Now this list is being now passed or stored into val, and each value, we are adding up. So sum 1 is initialized to 0. So it will be like 0 plus 6
Hmm.
plus 6. Once we have 6 plus 5, so it will keep on adding in this for loop.
So how will end this loop? It will means it will keep on
So yeah,
adding.
once it reads all the elements, yeah,
Hmm.
once it reads all the elements from this list, if everything is done, then it will stop.
Okay, fine. But
Yeah.
here there is no condition, so it will automatically judge the end of that list of numbers.
Yeah, yeah. So there's no condition here. So we're just saying, okay, for all the elements present in this numbers list, you keep on adding them. Once it reads the last element, if there is no other element in that, it will stop there
Okay.
because there's nothing to read after 11. It will stop there.
हम्म, ठीक है. Okay.
Okay, can you all try this out? I just want to, explain this break. Now, as Pooja, you said, like there's no condition, right? It will keep on doing it and until it reaches, the last value, then it will stop. But sometimes you want to break it basis on certain, conditions. We would say, okay, once it reads, fourth value or fifth value, we want to stop. Break means we want to stop running the loop. So how do we do that is given here. So can you all write this and then I will explain. From line number 266 till 271. Let me give one more minute. Okay, so let us try to understand this. So what I'm saying for val, this is the variable in string. That means basically in this val, I'm looking at a text called string, then colon, and I'm saying if val in the val, if it is equal to I. So what this will for will do is it will read one character at a time because it's a loop, right? It's a for loop. Earlier in the earlier case, how we looked at this list, and when you said for val in numbers, it used to read one value. It read six first time, then five, then three, then eight. Since it is a list is like an array, right? Having the numbers, elements stored in it. Here I'm just passing this string as a text. So what this will be, s it will take s in the first loop, then t, then r one character it will take and try to run this loop. So what basically we're trying to do is when this loop reads I, if a val is equal to I, if it holds true, then you break it and then you print val. So if I run this, what do you see? You see str. So from the string, it read S as the first loop, then T as the second loop, R as the third loop. It ran for I also, but for I, we have written a condition saying that when it's equal to I, you stop. Break means you stop it. That's why we are only seeing the values from str. And then we are printing those values since at the I position, when it reaches I, it stopped. That's why it printed only till str. Now, can we try to understand the indentation here? So for loop started. Now all these things, if and everything, is part of this for. That is what we can understand, right? All these lines are part of for. If statement started here, but break statement started here. You see there is a space for if. So this means this break is part of this if. That is what we can understand with the indentation. And the sprint is part of this for. Understood? Okay, so I'll upload
I'm
this
getting error
program,
here.
Python program.
Sorry for
Hmm.
interrupting. I'm getting error here.
Yeah, yeah, tell me.
Error is invalid syntax. If val is equal to I means I have written in the similar manner
Yeah,
like
it's equal to. It's equal to, double equal to.
you, but it didn't work. It's not working.
Okay,
Is
what
there
does it?
space between if val equal to equal if there is a space between both sides?
No, no, there's, yeah, after val there is a space,
Hmm.
and after two equal to there is a space.
Okay.
Can you ping that code in the chat?
Sure.
Okay, so val in string.
I added colon after if val equal to I and it worked. But yes, yes, it's not printing the end, but it's printing in my case.
See, you should see, str as well as the end. The
Hmm.
end is nothing to do with this for loop, okay? It is just outside the for loop and we're just printing it. That means, okay, this is when this line execute, we are sure that, okay, this for loop has completed executing. But are you getting it after adding this colon?
Yes, yes, this colon after that. If val equal to y, I
Okay,
didn't add colon earlier.
colon, yeah. See, this colon is important. You can imagine this colon as then. So once this condition is holds true, then what do we want to do? So we
Mm-hmm.
return instead of then, we say colon.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'll do is I will upload, similar, there are a lot of similar programs. You can try it out. There are a lot of programs here. Okay, I will upload those programs in the programs folder in the Google Drive. So far I'm sure you must have, gone a little bit comfortable with understanding the Python, writing the programs, reading the files, playing with the data. You should be very comfortable in whatever we have learned so far. Okay, in terms of coding. Now the next thing we want to, look at is, statistics part. How do we build the model? So start with, let's go and understand this correlation. Yeah. So what is the need of correlation? So any guesses? You all learn this from SAS or no? Proc core in SAS, did you learn that? Okay. Relation between two variables. So what is the need? What is the need? So the word itself says correlation. So we are trying to find out if there is any relation. So relation between what? Relation between two variables. So something like, is there any association between hours of study and grades? So how much you study and how much, score you get. Is there any relation? Is there any, yeah, if one variable changes, then how another reacts. Yes. So is there any association between number of temples in a city and murder rate? What happens to sweater sales when with increase in temperature? What is the strength of association between them? What happens to ice cream sales versus temperature? So this could be like, if temperature goes down, the sales of ice creams might go down. If the temperature goes up, that means if it is hot, the sales of ice creams go up. What is the strength of association, right? And how do we quantify that? Okay, how the relation is, whether it is strong or how is it? Now, to measure that, there's something called as correlation coefficient. Now, this correlation coefficient, let me open an Excel. This correlation coefficient would have a value between -1 and +1, and in between there is 0. Okay. Now, the correlation coefficient, if it is towards plus, if it is towards positive, then we call it as a positive correlation. A positive correlation. If this value will be towards negative, then we will call it as a negative correlation. What does this mean? Let's take an example of sales of ice creams and temperature. So what I am saying is, if temperature goes up, so when this coefficient is positive, right? Let's say we ran an algorithm and it give a value, let's say 7.85. Is it positive or negative? It is positive, right? So what we can understand that, okay, between these two, it's a positive correlation. So when it is a positive correlation, if one variable goes up, if one variable goes up, let's say temperature goes up, what will happen to the sales? Goes up. That means it will behave the same way. That means if one is going up, the other will also go up. That's why we are saying it as a positive. If one behaves in a certain way, the other will also behave it in that way. If one goes down in positive, other will also go down. Now, in negative correlation, what will happen since it is negative? If one goes up, if temperature goes up, the sales will go down. If the temperature goes down, the sales will go up. It's opposite. That's why it is negative correlation. So if any value, any number which you see it in negative, we would say it as a negative correlation. So when it is negative, we could say that yes, there is no relation between the two variables. When it is positive, yes. So we would say it is positive relation and this is negative relation. So whenever we want to, understand of any relation between the two variables, you should be very clear with this logic. Okay, with this -1 to +1. See, in statistics, what is the biggest problem is coding part, you will get it anywhere. But once that algorithm, that model gives us the output, we need to understand, we need to interpret the results. So let's say you were not aware of this -1 plus 1. When you ran, correlation analysis, it gave you something like this. But what is the 0.95? If you don't understand this concept, what I have explained, you won't be able to, interpret this value. But if you know this, now few things you can, interpret is, okay, this is a positive correlation. That means, you know it is a positively correlated. If one variable goes up, the other variable will also go up. If one variable goes down, the other variable will also go down. This is what you can interpret. Now let's go, and can you all do this exercise? So try to import this air passengers dot csv file, and it is there in that datasets 2 folder, air passengers.csv. Can you all do that? So before doing this, we want to read any files, we have to import pandas. Okay, so import the package pandas and try to write this. Your path will change. Okay, your path will change. So create a data frame called air, and on that air you do a shape. On that air you do column dot values head and describe, and let me know what you are saying. Because before doing any analysis, we want to look at how many rows do we have, rows and columns, what are the column names, how does, the data look like. You're just looking at first hand observations, you are doing describe. Let me know once you're done. And this air passengers data is present in the datasets2 folder, which I have uploaded on the Google Drive. Those who have done, can you ping in the chat window? Can you all tell me how many rows and columns?
So, you know,
Yeah.
air passenger separate folder you have placed somewhere in now means you have placed, or it was because it's not in the data set folder which you have given earlier.
No, now, no. Now I have placed in the data folder. You see this data sets too. I have uploaded today itself.
Okay,
So download
okay,
this datasets 2, just like you did datasets 1. In datasets 2 folder, you will
mm-hmm.
see this air passengers folder. So you have to
Okay,
point
okay,
to that location.
okay.
Okay, so everyone is getting 80 rows and 9 columns. So if I do this, let me point to the location. Instead of double slashes, I'm just using single slash, but we have to put this R, right? Now air, and I will just select this shape. Okay, 80 rows and 9 columns. Column dot values will give me what are the column names do we have, right? This a dot head will give me, first 10 records from the data. A dot describe will give me all the statistics. How many, what is the count, how much is the mean, standard deviation, all that stuff. By each variable, okay? By each variable. Everyone should done till here at least. Okay, once you're done till here, now what we want is we want to find out if there is any correlation between number of passengers and promotional budget. So this could be, uh, a use case for airline industry. So let's say SpiceJet is launching certain, promotional budget, and they want to, they are doing that marketing, and they are, promoting certain marketing campaigns, and they want to see how many, passengers we would have if we run a particular promotion, right? Now, let me copy this. So basically, we want to see, is there any relation between the budget, promotion budget, and passengers? So here, NP stands for, I have to import a package called NumPy, okay? NumPy as NP. So let's do that. So import NumPy, just like, pandas, you have NumPy package and np dot core coefficient, correlation coefficient. In this, I am looking at two variables, air dot passengers. From air data frame, I'm looking at passengers and promotion budget, and run this. Okay, so it created this matrix. So this is called confusion matrix. This is called confusion matrix. So uh, this one, it will take some time to explain. Okay, so we will look at this concept tomorrow because it's a big concept. So how do we look at? So this confusion matrix is very important. So there are four values in this matrix, and we need to basically understand what is the meaning of that, what kind of relationship we have, because basis on this, so this, in all the models, this confusion matrix plays a very important role. So this is what we have so far. Hello, can you all hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So to understand that, okay, we will see that tomorrow about this confusion matrix. If you want to plot, so matplotlib, so we would import a matplotlib package, and in that pie plot and scatter plot. So you can have, scatter plot between passengers and promotion budget, some kind of a chart. If you want, you can do that. Again, we are trying to find out if there is any relation between number of passengers and the service quality score. But for that, to understand this, you have to be aware of that confusion matrix. I'll take you all through tomorrow. Okay, so what I will do is I will upload, some additional programs in this programs folder after this call. Okay, so try to spend as much time as possible in looking at those codes. So the codes are already written. You pick one program and try to run those programs step by step and try to understand, okay, what is happening. When I do this, this is the code and this is the output we are seeing. So always, try to learn in that way. If I, writing this code, running it, what is the output? Then try to understand that code accordingly. Okay, so we will end for today. So we will connect back tomorrow. Thank you all.